that in mind. So how do we combat this? And it's quite simple, is act like an institution. Don't trade all day, execute using higher probable frames, high probable times, market opens, specific times during the day. Be aware of certain price levels. You're looking at different price zones, your supplier demand zones, and support and resistance levels. Be aware when we get to these key price levels, on the higher time frames, that there may be a struggle. We may consolidate for a bit. Looking at a 5-minute time frame and saying we're at resistance really doesn't give you a big picture feel for that. You really want to look at it at the higher time frames, because those, when they break or they retest, that's where you're going to have the most activity from there. At the end of the day too, be patient. Sometimes the market needs time to set up. And at the beginning of the week, we may not see a move. We may see consolidation. And then as we progress through the week, that's where the move actually takes place. So your analysis could be right, but jumping in on a Monday or a Sunday probably is not the best advantage for you as a trader. Maybe you have to wait till Tuesday and Wednesday and take the actual trend. Now that we've broken out and we're moving in that direction, that's the time to take trades. Setting yourself up for success. I think a lot of people want to do this, but they don't actually practice it. So, I mean, it's important. When you look at the rules, figure out your trading plan, execute on your trading plan, and just rinse and repeat, right? So, we say this all the time, and people say, well, that's pretty simple. So then I ask, why aren't you profitable? Because you're not following your plan. You don't have a plan. You over leverage your account. You're not following risk management, or you're just chasing. You're chasing a dream. You believe that you should be profitable. You believe you should be making money. You're not actually putting in the effort. You're just telling everybody this is what you should be doing. This is exactly what you are doing to fail. And when we look at it, it's a very interesting idea, because when we say, why are we making the same mistakes over and over again? And this is an interesting topic, because as humans, we learn from mistakes, but humans, we always say history repeats itself. So there's an old parable, an old fable about the scorpion and the frog. And when you look at this, if anyone's ever heard about this, I mean, you'll understand this. But when you look at what the scorpion and the frog fable is, it's the idea that it's in your nature, okay? And it's something that you have to understand. So when we look at the scorpion and the frog, the fable is the scorpion and the frog were both sitting at the edge of the water. And the frog was going to go across the water, across the river to the other side. And the scorpion turned around and said to the frog, hey, Mr. Frog, I need you to carry me on your back to get across the other side of the river, because I want to go there too. And when you look at that, the frog turns around to the scorpion and says, no, scorpion, you're going to stab me in the back as we try and go across. The scorpion says, no, I need to go across too. So why would I do that? And the frog says, I don't know, but you're going to do that. I'm going to go on my own. And the frog turns around and says, you stay here, I'm going across. Scorpion says, no, I promise that I will go across. We will go across together. I won't stab you in the back. So, they debate. And, it's we turn around and the frog says, okay, scorpion, jump on my back, let's start going across. So we're going across, and the frog's swimming and scorpion's on the back, and we get halfway through the river and the scorpion stabs the frog in the back. And the frog looks at the scorpion and is like, what the fuck? You told me you weren't going to stab me in the back. And the scorpion's like, I'm sorry, but it's in my nature. You know what? When you look at that and you think about it, when people make mistakes, it's in your nature to make mistakes. It's in your nature that you have a mindset. When you recognize that, that is what is going to help elevate you and what's going to help change what you're trying to do. And maybe the frog didn't say, what the fuck? Maybe that's just my own interpretation of the fable. I mean, I'm sorry that people, sometimes it's fun to use those things and change it for more of a PG audience. But, how do we adjust our mentality? And when you look at that and how do you change your nature? It's like, am I putting time in to be a successful trader? Am I participating in the groups in both lending knowledge and asking questions? Am I waiting for something to happen, or am I making it happen? And is my trading plan complete? And am I following my trading plan? Have I mapped out a plan for myself personally? Like, where do I want to be in a month, 6 months, or a year from now? Like, am I objectively looking to see where I can be? And am I being realistic with my approach? If I'm working 10 or 12 hours a day and I'm only studying Forex for 1 hour, I'm not going to be on the same level as someone who doesn't go to work, or who's in university or high school or wherever they are, and all they're doing is devoting their time to understanding Forex. So you have to put those kind of ideas into context, and you have to say to yourself, what makes sense for me? And if I understand that there's certain limitations, there's certain things I can't do, how do then I go across and do that? Doing the same thing at the end of the day is hard. Doing it over and over again. We are not built to do things repetitively as humans because we get bored easily. So take away the ego. Nobody says, like Raquel said this as well, nobody says you have to trade full time. Work part time, and and then trade part time. At least there's going to be a steady income coming in. You don't have stress if you miss a trade one day or you didn't trade that day. You still have income. Maybe you can't trade every day. That's okay. You don't have to worry about trading every day. Maybe you only want to trade 1 or 2 days a week. There's nothing wrong with that. Trading is what you make of it. It's subjective. It's what you believe you want to do. Don't compete with others. We're all here. We're all working for the same thing. Whether you're making $1 or $1,000,000, progress is progress. And you have to understand that. And let's take a look at some things here. Understanding the facts. This was an idea that I pulled. And these are performing funds in Canada. So these are mutual funds, hedge funds, things like that. The top performing funds. Look at the rate of return that they're doing over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Do you see anybody doing like 50% returns, 100% returns? You don't. Look at the returns, 19% over a year, 2% over a year, 8% over a year. Do you notice something here? They're happy with those returns. So if you're doing 5% a month, you're doing 10% of a month, like, what is the issue? What is the issue with actually going through this and saying to yourself, hey, if these top professional companies are doing 5 and 10% a year, why is it wrong that I'm only doing 5 or 10% a month? You have to understand that everything has a purpose and everything has a reason. So, you're sitting at home and you're making 5 or 10% a week. You're beating these institutions up huge. What? Because you don't have $1 billion? You'll eventually get to the point where you're making decent money. So why do you want to gamble? Why not just take your time and understand that the biggest institutions in the world are only doing 20% returns a year, maybe 10% returns a year, maybe. Understand what is going on in the market and where you see yourself and how you can compare yourself to those markets. At the end of the day, what is the hurry? If you need money, get a job. You hate your job, get another one. You don't want to chase. I hear this all the time. People don't want to trade for cheeseburgers. Nobody wants to make $1 or $2 a trade. They want to make Mercedes-Benz money. Everybody wants to make $20,000-$30,000 a trade. But if you can't win the dollars consistently, you're not going to win the tens of thousands of dollars consistently. You have to understand that. And when I say this, next time when you are working through trading and you look at yourself and say, I only made $100 today, and you look at that, document all the hours that you put into Forex, the hours that you did on Saturday, the hours you did on Sunday, and all that extra time, put that all together. And when you see this, you put it into perspective. Pro athletes love what they do. Anyone who has a passion for something, they love what they do. So they're not worried about the dollar because they know the dollar will come. You know, you spent many years in school or, you know, growing up learning things, and you don't have to learn Forex in 2 or 3 months. It's a process. Enjoy the lifestyle change. This is something you want to do, and if you want to do it full time, you have to be realistic and you have to understand that. And, you know, final comment is trading should be done with a clear mindset. And if you're clouding your mind with what you think you should be doing or how you should be doing it, you're just going to end up failing in the end. It's going to hurt yourself. All right. So how do we control ourselves? Essentially, stick to the plan. You know, you have to do this. You have to do this. When you complete your goal, whether positive or negative, shut down MT4 or MT5 for the day. It's quite simple. Just enjoy the rest of your day. If you're having a bad week or a good week, maybe it's time to take time off from trading. You know, studying and being in front of the markets for every day can be draining mentally. You might not be tired physically, but your mind might be exhausted. You need to give it a break, because if you don't, it's going to impair your decisions. You're going to overtrade. You're going to create more issues, and you know, you have to understand that. And remember, every day that you break these rules is another day you're stuck doing the same things you don't want to do. Look at that, and look at that very closely. You blow your account today, that means now you've taken 10 steps back instead of 10 steps forward. Keep things in perspective, whether it's you have to write it down in your laptop, put it on your desk, put it onto your phone. Make these rules and understand them so that as you move forward, you realize why you're doing what you're doing. Things to remember: habits take 21 days to form, so you got to be consistent. Reckless trading leads to reckless results. You know, someone who's making 100% in a day can also lose 100% in a day, so keep that in mind. And treat Forex like a gym routine. You have to make it, you have to determine that it's a lifestyle. You have to put yourself in that position that this is what you want to do and this is going to be part of your life now. Who are you as a person? You know, do you even make proper financial decisions to begin with? Like, you know, what motivates you as a person? What are your key drivers? Are you a risk taker to begin with? Like, do you have this understanding that what you want to do, or how do you want to do it? Where are you in your life? Like, are you, you know, early on where you can make big mistakes and recover, or are you maybe later on in your life where you can't afford to make mistakes? You know, are your goals realistic? Things of that nature. Like, these are things that you have to understand about yourself so that you can get there. And, you know, like I said, failure is an option. You know, so why are you scared to do this? Like, why are you scared? You know, failing is good because of the following reasons. It allows you to evaluate mistakes that were made. It provides you with a new roadmap. And at the end of the day, not everybody succeeds on their first time. And I think that's the biggest thing that you have to realize that. And as you progress, each failure, now you take a bit of information from that, and now you fail a little bit less. And I think if you're able to do that as a person, you will continuously progress and you'll eventually get to where you need to be. But if you're going to beat yourself up or doubt yourself, or you're going to look at other people and you're not going to focus on yourself, you're never going to get to where you need to be, because you're always going to be chasing something that doesn't exist for you but exists for somebody else. So I think that was pretty much what I had to say, Raquel. I don't know if you need me to add anything, but
Oh, that was a lot of knowledge.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Let me give you remote. Don't. I gotta just move this. I gotta pause share, right? Or stop share. There we go.
All right, so you can just hit on stop sharing.
Yeah. I just did that, didn't I? Yeah. There you go.
Okay, perfect. So that was amazing. Like, it's always good to hear from Ted. So I think Alex the Tendrous, he wants to share some experiences with you guys. I know Alex. Alex started in July or June. I'm not sure. He's gonna tell you guys that. But he has really leveled up, man. Like, I am amazed the way this guy has leveled up. Alex, I've unmuted you right now.
How's it going?
Oh, great, man.
How
Great.
is everyone? I'm gonna share my screen.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
All right, cool. You guys see it? See my slideshow? Let me know. All right. I think you guys see it. All right, cool. So, hello. I just made this slideshow because Ted made one. It's pretty last minute. So, we're just going to kind of go from that. All right. So, yeah, like Roger said, I've been trading since like June or July or what have you. And a big question that I usually get is, how did I become consistent so fast? And because I think if I had to put a date on it, I'd say that I became consistent in like 5 or 6 months. And the reason for that, I would contribute most, if not all of it, just to my work ethic. Because, so I'm 19. So basically, the only option for me was Forex or a minimum wage job when I was going to school and what have you. So I obviously chose Forex over a minimum wage job. And because of that, I had a lot of free time. I was pulling 10 to 12 hours of just straight studying every day for like 3 or 4 months. I know that when Ted was saying like you shouldn't be overstudying or what have you, I'm kind of the opposite. Like I go all in or nothing basically. And a really good quote that I like, I have this on my Instagram too, is if you're not working on your edge and someone else is. And I think that really speaks to me because if you start treating Forex as like a competition, I think that would help a lot. That's what I do. I make sure that I'm always going to be, I don't want to like say I'm the hardest working in the room, but I want to make sure I'm pretty damn close to that. So even if I found consistency now, which I have, I'm still in the simulator like almost every single day, just trying to perfect my craft and what have you. But yeah, that's my intro. So this is a really important slide. This picture right here is about like chasing your strategy. I thought that was kind of fitting. But basically, the thing with winning strategies is it's super easy to have a winning strategy. I feel like around 80 to 90% of traders can have a potential winning strategy, but if it's so easy to have a winning strategy, then why do most traders fail? So yeah, I think the reason for all of that is just the extreme lack of discipline, what have you. For me personally, I know that I have a winning strategy, right? And because I have a winning strategy, I don't let anyone else try to deter me from my strategy. Like I get a lot of people, like a lot of DMs telling people telling me to try out their strategy, see how it works and everything. And then all the time I'll just say, no, man, I don't care about your strategy. Honestly, I really don't. Like you can, because everyone sees the market in different ways and I know what works for me. So I'm going to just remove the clutter. And a big problem with this is that most people, when they keep on gathering information, they forget to like shed old information. So when you're first learning, I would say it is good definitely to get different viewpoints, but once you start like developing your strategy, it's really good to just completely ignore everyone else once you know that your strategy is working for you. But yeah, so about the lack of discipline, I think it's on the next slide, maybe this one. Yeah, so with the discipline, if you can name me one trader that isn't extremely disciplined, one successful trader that isn't extremely disciplined, let me know, because I honestly have no idea. I don't think there is one out there. But when I say discipline, that basically means to take the best setup, to, you know, be able to not, if your setup that you trade based on your strategy isn't there for a session, you have to be able to just not trade that session and just go to the next session. Like it's no big deal, because this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You don't have to make your percentage every single session. Discipline to risk management. A quote that Raja talks about a lot, which I keep in the back of my head whenever I'm trading, is you get paid to be patient, which is absolutely true. And I think that has actually helped me a lot with my personal discipline, is just waiting for the trade to come and not like over trade or what have you. And that actually brings me back to the previous slide. So yeah, over trading, it used to be like a huge problem for me. And because of overtrading, I probably lost around like $19,000 at 19 years old. And that's honestly because of overtrading. Everyone talks about having really strict risk management and what have you. But honest to God, risk management does not mean jack if you're overtrading. Like, because my risk management is insanely strict, but I still lost. You know why? Because I was overtrading. It literally does not mean anything if you're overtrading. So a big reason that you could be overtrading now, at least for me personally, like when your account starts compounding and getting bigger and bigger, you're going to be trading with more volume, and you're going to be somewhat, I guess, afraid to lose that money. Like before, like let's say you're dealing with like $100 account or what have you, and you know if you lost like $5-6, no big deal. But then when you start dealing with like a $10,000 or $20,000 account or what have you, you'd be losing, you know, $300, $400, $500 at a time if you lost for that session room. And you once you lose that, you kind of get in a mindset where like you're afraid to lose, and you just have to make that back the same session, the same day, or what have you. So I think to help with this, I know this sounds weird, but you should be going into each and every trade expecting to lose. Like you need to know exactly how much you're losing, and you have to come to terms with what you're going to lose if you go into this trade. When you do that, that builds up your confidence. That builds up everything that it just like really helps you take the setup and not hesitate for your setup, because you know you're going to come to terms with, okay, if I lose this, it's not going to be a big deal. I'll just earn it back the next session or what have you. Over-trading definitely goes into the aspect of discipline, and that's why I'm not really going to touch on risk management really, because obviously Raja did, and if you're trading, you definitely need risk management, obviously, but the big factor to that is overtrading, because in theory, you know, you can make like 5% a day, 10% a day, what have you, for a year, and you'd be perfect. But that doesn't happen. And the reason that doesn't happen is because of overtrading. Let's see. So I know that Ted has spoke on this, not on this webinar, I don't think, but trading isn't for everyone. And that's just how it is. Like you need a certain personality type for trading, and if you don't have it, then you don't have it, and you should just find a new hobby. You should literally quit. So kind of a few things that you should be looking for in your personality to make sure that trading is right for you is to just be able to cope with the insane pressure of having like your account losing money, gaining money, what have you. You got to stay strong, resilient, stay extremely focused. Yeah, so that's actually a good point. So staying extremely focused for long periods of time is very important, because that kind of goes into like having a passion and drive for Forex. And if you don't have that, you're going to find it a really tough time to be successful in Forex. Personally, I can literally just stare at charts all day long, stare at like the 1 minute chart or what have you, and then switch to like the 5 to 15 minute once those candles close. But yeah, that's literally what I can do for hours and hours and hours on end and be perfectly content with that, which I usually don't though anymore. I used to do that all the time. And actually, let me go back to overtrading, because that goes in part with overtrading, because if you're going to be staring at the charts all day long, you're going to end up overtrading and taking setups that might not actually be there, but just because you were looking at the charts for so long, you're going to start maybe seeing things. So a big thing that I've been implementing lately, and you're going to see this in like the live webinars or what have you, I take one trade and then I fill up my day with other activities so that, for example, I'll take one trade during New York session, and then what I do after that, I'll just go to the gym. And how I designed it is that at the time that I'm at the gym is the time where it's like an hour before London close or what have you. So when I get back home, there's not going to be any volume for me to trade. Like that really helps with over trading and what have you. I know that Alex Hill always talks about like filling your day up with random shit. It doesn't matter what it has to be. Just fill your day up with random stuff to keep yourself occupied so you avoid this big over trading. So let's go back to trading isn't for everyone. I honestly tell people this all the time. Like the people that have been struggling for, like I met this one guy. He, I'm not going to name any names or what have you, but he's been trading for like 5-6 years. He's blown hundreds of accounts. And I literally just told him that he should probably quit trading because it's not for everyone. And people think that just because you're in to the Forex family mentorship that you're going to be successful, but that's not the case at all. Like at all. We're like, as a mentor, they're not going to guide your steps each and every way. Like they're going to lay out information for you to run with. And that goes into your work ethic. You personally have to be in charge of running with the information that they lay out for you. That's what I was literally doing for hours and hours on end. I joined under Wakar. EMAs don't work, by the way. That was back in like November. And I was on the charts all day long. So, yeah. I think that is my speech for you guys. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Oh yeah, this is Blue Pips. I'm Blue Pips on Instagram. Yes, Blue Pips, that is me on Instagram. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions for me? All right, cool.
Yeah,
you guys will see me a lot on the webinars, what have you. So yeah, that's about it. Let me just pause share.
Yeah, he's a youngin. He's a very young dude. He inspires me every day. I'm not gonna lie.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're in the trenches literally every single day.
Yeah, every day, just digging in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have. I have a lot of fun activities after the guest speakers. So who we have? Okay, so we have Alex Hill coming up next, blessing up with some British accent over here, and Alex really had some sessions. Where's Alex? Okay. Hey, Alex. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Good.
Fantastic webinar so far. Been here from I think I came at about 3:30, so that's about 2 hours ago.
Oh, nice.
So I got about halfway through your part, got Ted's part, got Alex's part. Great contribution from both, I must say.
Yeah, man. Just take it away.
Right, share screen, keynote. Right, let me know when you can see my screen. You should be able to see a PowerPoint.
All right, yeah.
Okay, perfect. To be honest, I'm going to jump on and just literally go through a couple of slides that I presented yesterday. I ran a workshop yesterday for 10 people in obviously my home city in Birmingham in England. Fantastic day, man. I feel like there's nothing better than the engagement you can see when you talk to people about something. And you literally see people nodding all day, and then it comes to the end of the day and they're just like, wow, like that's actually changed my opinion on bits and pieces. But it's not just about the day that you talk to people and, this webinar, etc. It's about actually the next steps. Like, so obviously you'll be working, you guys that are new to Rakil's group, etc. You'll be working with Rakil, you'll be working with me, you'll be working with Ted, you'll be working with a lot of people ongoing after today. So, if today is almost like goes over your head, don't worry about that. Either rewatch the webinar or just continue asking questions. Like, it's not one day is going to completely change your opinion, change your trading. It's not going to work like that. Genuinely, what will probably happen is you'll take bits and pieces, and then the more questions you ask, things will obviously become a lot easier for you. We'll go back. How do I go back? There we go. Right. Messing around on my keyboard. But so obviously any questions you've got from me after this, if you want to take it offline, if you want to message me privately in the chat, like, that's cool. Generally what I would say is a lot of people don't ask questions. And it's understandable. Like yesterday, I'd said at the start of obviously my workshop, this isn't school. So, when you're in your classroom environment, there's one person that will put their hand up out of actually 10 people that want to put their hand up, but they're scared to do so because they feel like people will laugh at them. People say, okay, that's a stupid question. At the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't ask, you're never gonna learn anything. I'm actually a firm believer, like kind of actually opposite to what others would say of, Forex isn't for everybody. It could be for everybody. Because you can literally teach somebody anything. Like you teach a kid how to ride a bike, teach a kid how to swim. You can mold people in my opinion, but you got to be kind of willing to be taught almost, and actually realize that sometimes you just don't know best. But so yeah, on to the presentation. I'm going to hit you with about probably 5 slides. It's